What does a perfect version of Valorant look like? I spent a lot of time thinking about different changes that I think would benefit Valorant as a whole, and for a while it was one of my main pieces of content over on TikTok. But I wanted to make a full-length video talking about every single thing I believe would add value to the game, what the ideal version of Valorant would be in my head. Now, I'll start by saying I enjoy Val. Some of you may say, yeah, obviously, but it does need to be said because I get comments all the time from people saying that I always complain about Valorant, where I should find a different game to play if I hate it so much. I like playing Valorant in its current state, but I also recognize that Valorant can be better than it is right now. I don't think it's hard to understand that you can enjoy something while also thinking certain things should be changed, but apparently that's not true on the internet. I want to see Valorant succeed for the long term, and I think that some alterations would help it get there. Now, before we hit this crossroads, some people will hear some of these ideas and go, so-and-so game already has this idea, you want to make Val like this game. When you look at games today, there is no game where every single idea is original to them. That's unrealistic. The best games today take a little inspiration from here, a little from there, bring them together with some of their own original ideas and create a quality game. So no one's trying to turn Valorant into Overwatch or Counter-Strike. Other games just have concepts or systems implemented that Valorant could also benefit from, just like those games have done with other games. I'm going to start with some of the more popular ideas and changes that float around in the community, and we're going to work our way into some more obscure ones or ideas that I don't really see people talk about too often. And there's no better place to start, in my opinion, than the replay system. The concept that's been floating around since what feels like beta. Valorant devs flirted with this idea when the game first came out, getting everyone excited. However, in 2022, in a developer Q&A when asked about this, the answer was there was no plan for a player-facing version of a replay system as of now. And since then, this idea has gone dark. Day by day, you see creators and Twitter folk bring up this topic. It's the one change that is definitely requested the most. Everyone understands the benefits of this concept at this point. It makes it easier to get clips. It opens up the door for creators to do more interesting things. You think that guy who's 20-1 on the other team is cheating, now you get to see for sure. Feels like a net positive all around, and yet here we are 4 years later with no signs of this coming. Another change with no negative side effects outside of maybe development time and resources would be a workshop or a creative mode. Today, a lot of gamers pledge loyalty to a single game. You're a Fortnite player, you're a CS player, you play that one game almost exclusively. You sink thousands of hours into this one game, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And some people love that. For other people though, it eventually gets a little stale. The game loses some of that spark that it once had because you've been repeating the same motions for so long. This is when creative modes can come into games and breathe a new life into it for those players. A workshop opens up an endless amount of possibilities because the game now becomes a playground for the player's creativity. The bigger your player base is, the more creative people it'll have, meaning the more unique ideas you will have. Creating different maps, different game modes, designing training scenarios and practice maps. To understand the power a modding community can have, you have to look around the gaming space at some of the success stories. Dota, for instance, is one of the biggest games on the planet, and it came from a custom game on Warcraft 3. You then saw auto chess spawn from Dota 2. Games like DayZ and PUBG were created from Arma. Team Fortress was a Quake mod. Then you have the god of custom games, which is the Half-Life series, which spawned dozens of success stories, some of them being Counter-Strike, Gary's Mod, Chivalry, The Stanley Parable, Insurgency. Having a workshop has done nothing but good for games like Fortnite, Overwatch, and CS. This one is on the top of my personal to-do list. And this one here is short and sweet, but the ability to chill in the shooting range while you queue. This really only affects higher elo players because if you're in gold, you already have pretty fast queue times, but it would just be a nice quality of life change to not have to exit the range to then queue up. And for those people who get stuck in those 7-minute queues, you can continue to warm up and shoot around while also queuing instead of just having to stare at the monitor for 7 minutes. Now, I will always stand on the fact that Valorant needs some form of a map voting system. I think there are way too many times where I have to play the same map 3 games in a row. There's too many times where a lobby's stuck playing a map that all 10 players in the lobby do not want to play. People will argue it's for competitive integrity so that you don't one-trick a single map. It's so you're not stuck playing the same 2 maps over and over again, to which I say that's BS. There are countless games out there that have a map system that works, whether it be something like R6 where you're given a few potential maps and everyone chooses out of the pool which one they don't want to play, and then you're given a random map out of the ones left. It could be something like the old Call of Duty days where you get 2 potential maps for the game, and if you don't like either one of those, you could vote random. Or it could be something completely different. The point point is, nothing about having to play Sunset for 4 hours straight makes the game more competitive or makes me a better player. The current map system is a bad system that could be better in a bunch of ways. So let's get into some skin-based changes, starting with skin gifting. Now, I do think the idea of just straight up being able to send one of your skins to someone else would be a cool idea, but I also see some problems that could come with that. One of them being alt accounts, where you could basically just transfer all of your skins from one account to another as many times as you want. And we know Riot loves their money and that would be bad for business, but buying skins for other people, I think would be a fire change, and the e-daters would eat that up too. If you could open up a friend's store and see what they have available for the day, then be able to purchase one of those skins for them, or instead of having to do that, we knock out 2 birds with 1 stone and we just change the store system completely. Now, I want to address this rumor before I even get into this. Anytime someone brings up a change to the store system, there's always that one guy who goes, Valorant's store is set up like this because of FOMO, fear of missing out. Yet we all know why it's set up this way. That doesn't mean it works. I've spent well over $1,000 on Valorant skins. Not once in any of my purchases did I make a purchase based on thinking I was gonna miss out on it. I bought them because I wanted them. Plain and simple. Whether they're there today or they were always there, I would have bought them regardless. In fact, I would say the current store system has the opposite effect of what they intend. Prime example is the Xeno Hunter knife. For the longest time, I wanted that knife and I waited for weeks for it to pop up in my store. Eventually, there were skins that came along that I liked more that I ended up getting instead. Now the Xeno Hunter skin pops up in my store like once a week and I'll never buy it. If Valorant had a store system where you could just straight up purchase the things you want, I would have bought that Xeno Hunter knife way earlier, and then I would have also eventually bought something else once I liked it more. You can't say it's a money thing, because making people sit around for days, weeks, or months to spend their money they want to give to you now is dumb. Any smart business person would tell you that's a horrible business model. You don't allow the consumer to sit on their money and contemplate the purchase. And since we're on skins, we might as well talk about the scummiest money grab I've ever seen in a game, which is Radiant. Now I want to walk you through the thought process behind the Radiant system. You see a new bundle drop that you like. It looks clean, nice animations, it sounds good, so you spend $80 for the set. Then once you made the purchase, you realize that these weapons all look beyond dumb. And the reason why is because you don't have them upgraded. So that $80 purchase is deemed basically worthless until you spend more money to upgrade each individual weapon up to 5 times to get it how you want. Now Riot makes the price of buying Radiant so unbelievably expensive, and there's a very good and greedy reason for it. The first reason is because they know you need it. And like the price of any product in demand, they can uptick the price astronomically high because, well, what are you going to do about it? And the second reason is because there's an alternative. See, instead of spending over $100 on the Radiant straight up, you can instead spend $10 on the Battle Pass, where you'll get a bunch of Radiant as long as you play the game. They know that players see all that Radiant sitting in the Battle Pass and they'll go, this is way more valuable. So they go that route instead. Now you need to play the game though. A lot. About 100 hours to complete the Battle Pass. Now after your 100 hours of playing, you can finally get your $100 cosmetics to look the way they were marketed to you as. Absolute joke of a system. Here's the deal. Radiant as we know it, it needs to go. I would say scrap it completely, but the money boys over at headquarters would never in their life think of doing that. So some alternatives would be any bundle you purchase should automatically come upgraded. If you miss out on buying a bundle and you decide to buy pieces individually, that was your mistake. Now you need the Radiant to upgrade them. But if I'm spending $100 on a bundle, that bundle should come how it was marketed. There is nothing on those teaser videos that says only appears this way with Radiant upgrades. Also, price of Radiant needs to be chopped in half. It's insanely predatory to have people spending more to upgrade a gun they did for the actual skin itself. Now with all of these changes, Radiant in the Battle Pass would be less sought after, and that's a problem, right? Because right now Radiant is the only reason a large portion of people even buy the Battle Pass. And that's where the next change comes in. All the cute little sprays and banners and titles, that's nice and all, but that's an embarrassing appeal if that's how you're pulling people into your Battle Pass. Compare Battle Passes in the market to what Valorant has, and it's not even close. Valorant has one of the worst ones in all of gaming. I played through a full season of Apex or Fortnite and I get loads of cosmetics that rival some of the best in the game. Meanwhile, Riot is over here like, hey, you guys like Radiant and default animations, right? Usually the passes are 3 different bundles of blue or green rarity. Instead, make it 2. And in place of that third bundle, you put 2 legendary skins. Now these skins can either be brand new ideas, or an idea that I like is making a couple of skins for weapon bundles that people already like. Level 25 of the Battle Pass, you get an Ion Classic. And then if you finish the Battle Pass at level 50, you got yourself a Singularity Vandal. Everyone in the game would buy your battle pass because the value's insane, right? 2 legendary skins for the price of $10 to $15. People would grind out every season for those quote unquote free skins that are now actually skins worth having. The last 2 changes I want to hit on are community-based alterations, things that get the player base more in tune with the game, and the first one being Twitch drops. Now, Riot's already flirted with this idea a little, watch this VCT stream and get a gun buddy, but Twitch drops is something that could be utilized way deeper than that. You could do a community day where once a month there's a new drop where watching a Valorant streamer for X amount of hours gets you to drop. Whether it's a buddy, a title, you could even make it a small amount of Valorant currency. You could do something similar to what R6 has going on, where creators get to design their own gun buddies or banners for the game, and subscribing to that creator on Twitch gets you that thing. Twitch drops is criminally underutilized by Riot for Valorant, and it would be such an easy way for them to get more people engaged with creators. And lastly, we got events. Now, Riot's flirted with this ever so slightly with the snowball fight game mode, but in a perfect Valorant vision, the one I see in my head, events become a regular part of the Valorant ecosystem. Maps get reworked for seasonal events. Christmas time's here, you got Haven reworked as a snow map with Christmas decorations everywhere, and you play a winter-themed game mode. There's challenges linked to the event that once completed, you get an exclusive Christmas-themed skin. Halloween time, and we get a nighttime version of Split where the map is made to look like a haunted house. Attackers are melee only, defenders have to hide long enough. These don't have to be events based on season or holidays, but just bringing these events where people can participate and they're rewarded for taking part in it. It gets people excited to play your game instead of having to just log in and queue ranked for the 700th day in a row. It's a change of pace, gives us something different to do on occasion. And that's it. This is what my dream Valorant would look like. There's other things that I think would be good for the game as well, but if I was to construct Valorant myself, I would take the foundation Riot has right now, combined with these changes, and it would be my perfect Valorant. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, or don't.